In Northwest Arkansas on a beautiful Friday night, we have a top 11 series for you. The Razorbacks return home after a road series dub in Florida last weekend. They welcome in the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are number 2 in RPI in the nation. Another great crowd on hand. Let's take a look at the conference standings. No surprise, Texas and Oklahoma at the top, but Arkansas and South Carolina 8-9, both playing really good softball.
Straight balls rather really establish that strike zone early.
Last pitch looked pretty good. Not called a strike, and that one is up and out. A 4-pitch walk to begin the game.
Not the way that Robin Herron wanted to start. I agree with you that makes it a little bit more difficult.
2-2 to Rhodey. She's going to wave and miss. Kennedy Miller maybe had a chance to gun one down to first to retire. Teams have in common. That's one very big difference. 1-2 the count to Shelton. That pitch was left up, hit into center. Reagan Johnson can't get there. She's going to throw one wildly to first. If Reagan Johnson can't catch it, I'm assuming nobody can. But that was a pitch I think Herron is in Gainesville. Lexi Winters bounces one sharply to Davison. Flips to Rio. No play at first. Here comes the throw. Home! Safe at the plate. Lelio able to touch it in front of Kennedy Miller. Bree Ellis wasn't at first when Rio looked to throw to first and maybe have a chance to get the double play. Really nice pick, though, by Davison to keep this ball from rolling into right center, and it might have gone all the way to the fence.
It looked for a second like it had the opportunity to be a double play.
Bree Ellis thought it was going to be a base hit.
She did, and she didn't get back in time, but credit Lelio in South Carolina for forcing it really attack the batter here to get out of what has the potential to be a dangerous situation, because it's easy for things to snowball after a play like that.
And the 1-2, wave and a miss. Herron going off speed. The strikeout will be completed with a throw into the sunshine to first to Bree Ellis. 3-0 the count. Well, it was a leadoff walk that led to a Gamecock run in the top of this inning, and Reagan Johnson walks on 4 pitches to begin. 28 hits on the season for Kramer. That one's not close. Off the glove of Winters to the backstop, and that's a free base for Reagan Johnson.
It's a player like Reagan Kramer because there's not as much flux from game to game or inning to inning.
Next pitch to Kramer. She is going to wave and miss, so that's the first out and a big out. Career homers. She's homered at least once in every SEC series this year. She's also been hit a lot. She slams that bat down as she'll take first the hard way. Now, she was intentionally walked 3 times on Sunday, but she was also hit by a
arm.
She's shaking that out. McDowell chops one to third, fielded by Cheney. Steps on third base, throws across the diamond. That's a big double play to end the first. And Dorian, that was a nice job by her to get 2 on 1 swing. Lost 3 really close games against what is now the #1 team in the nation. That one's clubbed into right center field. It's down off the bat of Cheney. It's going to go to the fence. Picked up by Johnson. She'll fire it back in, but that's another one of the Gamecock doubles, and it begins the second inning.
South Carolina.
Here comes the payoff from Herron. That one's down. That's a take from Blankenship in ball 4. And the first 2 Gamecocks have reached here in the second inning.
And Coach Woodard.
Showing bunt. That one kicks away. And going to third is Cheney.
More aggressive base running from South Carolina. Again, I like the tone here from the Gamecocks. Bogle has been a place that has not been extra run off of a wild pitch or a pass ball.
Chance to maybe get Blankenship. Now a throw home is going to be late. It's South Carolina for the second time in this game. They've created some havoc on the bases.
South Carolina creating chaos. This is a perfectly executed first and third play. You drill this all the time defensively. Davison cuts it off. She does the right thing, freezes the runner.
She had a couple of pirouettes in there that confused me.
The second that she released the ball, Cheney went from third as Heath going to be called on the strikeout, but a great job of base running. South Carolina so aggressive, and it's RC.
Hard hit to Davison. Quick flip to first base to Ellis. Now Bree sprints that back to the circle for the second out. And while Arkansas hasn't made any mistakes, they've been just a little bit slow.
You know, it's textbook. Any young players that are watching, seeing that slide into home, that's exactly what you should do.
You know, as we broke down that delayed steal from Blankenship, I was still a little bit confused by Davis. And
Also already forced her to throw a lot of pitches.
Indeed. Turn this lineup over. Lelio waiting, swinging and missing. Herron's had movement on that pitch that's been down in the dirt. She gets the K to into the game.
And South Carolina only with 5 pitchers on the staff, not a full pen, as the leadoff walk comes for Arkansas. Back-to-back innings that they've been able to draw that. That's one of the things that could.
Spoiler alert, she was out and she's out here. She takes strike 3. So Hurd, after she walked Johnson in the first, battled back and struck out Kramer.
Inning after inning or game after game, it's pitch after pitch, batter after batter.
Dribbler to second. Shelton will flip and get the force on Wyckoff, the lead runner at second. For the second out as Rio reaches. That was the case during the ball's fouled away. You go a little bit further outside, and then you work in, and you never catch too much of the plate to make a costly mistake. And that's a wave and a miss. Davison down on strikes, a leadoff walk, but the Razorbacks do not score. It's 2-0 Gamecocks. And this is for a former hockey player, so you know she's tough, but she had to wear that mask, and I think Coach Chastain Woodard said she had a broken face, and I don't know if that's the technical term or not, but you get the idea. It wasn't a lot of fun, and she will walk to begin the third inning.
Well,
She has been the primary pitcher, though, in this Arkansas team, and oftentimes she's been throwing on both Fridays and Saturdays. That's in the air, very shallow left. Kramer drifting on to make the catch. She just about overran it. Makes the play for the first out.
and an out like that is what we're trying to way to work through it.
Next pitch, cut and a miss. Came up and in. Winners with the swing and a miss. The second out of the inning.
Actually, listen, there's no need to sugarcoat it.
Arkansas left 18 runners on base in that game. Courtney Deifel felt like they dominated. They didn't win. Herron seems to bounce back nicely with a couple of Ks, but
On the opposing defense.
Kennedy Miller is going to lead off against Hurd to begin the bottom of the third inning. First pitch, it's flied out to right. Knight, not sure if she lost it or the wind got a hold of that ball, but she had to really shift back to make the catch.
Good play that was started by Chansey over at third base. A quick 5-3 to be able to double up Johnson.
On the ground, and she will beat that one out. The Gamecocks were in somewhat of a slow motion with Shelton gloving it, trying to flip to Rhodey, but ran it. That's on the ground again to second base. Johnson trying to reach at second. She does! Shelton had to flip to Blankenship. I don't know if Shelton was a little bit casual or whether Johnson's speed just beat it.
Into the zone. A lot of times you'll see players get extended on pitches like that in the dirt because they want to hit so badly.
Here's the payoff. Did that hit the knob of the bat or did it hit her hand? It hit her again. Second time in this game she's been hit by a pitch. Her on-base percentage and OPS continue to rise.
60s. She's going to work into the hands of righties.
After the delay, here's the 3-2, and that's high, and that's ball 4, and Bree celebrates her walk. She has a similar personality or intensity as does Bree Ellis, separated by about 20 miles in Houston in 4 years. A chopper to third again. Chansey looked home. She throws to first. She retires McDowell. Reagan Johnson scores, and Arkansas is on the board, and that was over as she digs the ball out of her glove at a 2-strike pitch that's swung on and missed. So Wyckoff will K. That ends the third, and they didn't know if that would necessarily translate. Ouch. So Chansey will reach another free base runner. This is the 4th straight inning. South Carolina.
Not like Charlotte was an unproven in a low-mid major. They had a tremendously high RPI over the course of the last several seasons.
Wave and a miss, throw to second base. Miller put it on the money, but called safe is Chansey. It was a little bit high. I thought.
Changed the runner's out.
I tell you what, I'm feeling it today, Dorian.
Arkansas's first out.
That's a big out, though, for Arkansas now that they've cut this lead to 1, not to see a runner at second base with nobody out.
Oh, the momentum shift is huge.
See, right here, I think this tag is applied to the side of the shoe before that shoe gets to the base. I think in a sense, she almost kind of pushes the toe a little bit to the right of the base while she's applying.
Bottom part of your lineup, the out's coming at second base. You know, I'm kind of surprised. I was surprised that they were willing to try and get an out at home plate. But again, it's just the willingness to apply pressure. Strike 3 called.
Good pitch, strike 3. That's 7 Ks for Robin Herron. She painted the bottom of the zone.
Coach Chastain Woodard talked about their swing approach. She felt like they attacked strikes and let balls go.
2-1 is a little dribbler to Rio. She's got a tremendous arm and she needs it here and throws out Heath to end the inning. So a hit batter, but only 3 hit.
You know, these are the calculations that you start to have.
But then it means every one of these games is so meaningful. The 3-2 today, she will wave and miss. So she has gone down on strikes both times since getting back in the lineup tonight after missing.
If they do all the things that they're supposed to do along the way, and that takes a lot of pressure off.
Off-speed pitch, and Rio was locked up, and she will take strike 3. So Gress has now struck out 3. Take, swing, take, swing, take.
That's as a batter, you're like, I just thought 10 different things. None of them were correct because I didn't swing.
That's right. Off the bat of Davis into third. Handled by Chansey, and Arkansas goes quickly and in order in the bottom of the 4th. Still a 1-run.
That want to play for their home school and want it more than anything. They're then willing to do anything to make the team better, and that means slotting in wherever you're needed.
That's on the ground to Rio. Ball rolled around in her glove just a bit. She makes the play and retires Vincent. And there's 1 out. I think when you think that's a big part of it, I'm also intrigued by this ad in Lilio as she's going to stroke 1 out to center. Run down by Johnson, who makes the catch for the 2nd out. 2-2 the count to Rhodey. Her walk in the 3rd extended her streak to 32 straight games reaching base, but she will K here. Robin Herron has had 3 hitless and scoreless innings. Scouting report standpoint, poke softly to second. Shelton will scoop and flip and retire Miller to begin the bottom of the 5th inning. And she'll take ball 4, and she's on. And Dorian, this is not an Arkansas team that runs much.
Here.
Ball 4. And a couple of runners on base for the most feared hitter in college softball, Bree Ellis.
Great move.
I do too. And Arkansas will have the bases loaded for McDowell, who has twice today hit the ball on the ground to third. Once into a double play to end an inning. McDowell talking to herself as she waits on a 2-2. Hammers one to the left center. That's going to roll all the way to the fence. It's going to score 2. Here comes Bree Ellis around third. She will score. Ella McDowell clears the bases and puts the Razorbacks in front in the 5th. And they walked Ellis to get to McDowell, and Bree Ellis appreciates the big swing from the young freshman.
McDowell coming through with a huge hit. This ball is elevated. She keeps the hands high, keeps the barrel through the plane, drives it, and because the outfield is drawn in to try and cut the run, the ball is able to get all the way to the fence. Courtney Deifel aggressive, sending Bree Ellis. The bases clear. Elevated ball is the easiest one to drive for a hitter.
But even if you're thinking, let me put this in play and get a single or a double, she can throw that barrel to the ball, and Wyckoff will fly one to very shallow left, and Vincent makes the play for the 2nd out. And when you're a hitter that can do that, 3-2 the count today. That ball's tagged in the air, left center field, off the base of the fence. It didn't get out, but Day has an RBI double, and the Razorbacks have added to the lead. It's 5-2 Hogs.
The last 2 balls that Arkansas of where this ball is being met, and it's another ball. This one not elevated, but it's still dead center in the middle of the plate, and Courtney Day makes Gress pay. That ball a foot away from getting out of here and being a home.
I think she got it off the very end of her bat, not necessarily the barrel. You were up by 4 with the bases loaded. Would you walk her with the bases loaded to force it a run? Rio sends one out to right. It'll drop in front of Knight, and it's going to go all the way to the fence. Walker's going to score. Rio has 2 on her way to 3, and she's in there. And Arkansas leads 6-2. That may not be a triple, but Rio didn't stop until she got to third, and Arkansas tacking on.
Rio has great speed towards the lineup, turns on this ball, drives it down the right field line. Knight able to get to it. It just skips past her. And there is no chance at getting Rio. Another RBI base hit for the Razorbacks. They have opened things up here in the fifth.
A lot of pitches have been thrown this frame. That strike three called over the inside corner. So Davison down looking, but Dorian, Ella McDowell had the big swing this inning for Arkansas. There's number 33, does Carly Shelton. What's unique about that, it was the number that her head coach wore when she was a Gamecock. And she's going to poke one to left, and it will be caught. So that was the number that Ashley.
That's what good teams do. They find ways to win. We talk about that all the time.
That's up the middle. Rio covers a lot of ground from her knees. Bounces one to first, but Ellis couldn't scoop it. That close to a highlight play. Played for a long weekend in the state of Florida.
A really tough road trip.
Good pitch. Strike three. Knight knew it. She struck out all 3 times in.
And Robin Herring continuing to work. You see the strike.
Before.
There's no reason not to. You absolutely know pretty much everything you need to know.
Winners will be able to run. Here's the payoff pitch. That is high, so Herring invested a lot in that sequence. South Carolina needs one more base runner to bring the tying run of
tonight.
It's a great point. You're facing a hitter who has 1 home run, but also you've got a tremendous defense behind you. Trying to rein it in, get the final out. That one's poked right to Davison. She'll make the catch. The inning ends. Gamecocks strand a couple of runners. Did it clip the corner? It did not. And that's ball 4.
She's supposed to do, even when she's not leading off in an inning. She's getting on base. She's making things difficult.
And that ball's going to squirt out of the glove of Chansey. However, Wood was standing at first. So instead of getting a bunt hit out of that, Wood had gone back to the base, and it was,
In the
there's
first
no doubt.
2 innings.
Chopper up the middle, a double play would keep Bree Ellis from being able to bat. Kramer is retired, and here comes Ellis with Johnson at second base, and I can't imagine.
Batter's box and hit for home runs.
So in the last 2 SEC games,
In it.
that one's tagged. It's going to drop. McDowell has another run batted in. She's knocked home 5 in the game. And how about the freshman batting cleanup, driving the bus, if you will.
Bree Ellis. This ball low in the zone. She has showed, has McDowell, that she's able to hit on multiple different planes. That ball was low and outside. She got the barrel down, drove through, let it head. And it's not just the slog of years.
That one's hit well to center, and it is going to kick up off the fence. It's going to score a run and maybe 2. McDowell will hold it third. And Arkansas's played it another one.
Answered runs. This time is driven on a rope by Wyckoff.
Becker lucky this one stayed in the park where that pitch was located.
Yeah, a couple of them. That one coming off the bat, I thought had a chance to get out of here just in the deepest part of the park.
That was belt high center of the plate. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. McDowell will score. Here comes Carter. The throw is spiked. The Razorbacks run off 10 unanswered. And they run rule the Gamecocks. And what a display of offense over the last couple of innings as the Hogs take game 1.
Display of offense, display of resiliency for Arkansas. South Carolina came in. The Gamecocks set the tone. They got off to a great start in this game, but Arkansas and Robin Herring settled in. Herring brought the defense back, and then the Razorbacks offense picked her up. 10 unanswered runs. We called this game strange. It did not get any more normal all the way through, but it ends up in a Razor.
A home run.
Couldn't tell you.
Probably been a long time. Day hit one up the middle, and by putting the pinch runner Carter in, she was able to turn third and score in Arkansas. They were down 2-0 coming to the plate in the bottom of the third. They win it 10-2 in 6 innings to finish off the Gamecocks and moved to 9-6.